Hello, and welcome to today's episode where we're going to be talking all about how to recover from burnout. So, in my first year of running my online mindset business, I burned out so hard, which is like kind of ironic, like being a mindset coach and working on mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical well-being as well, like from a neuroscience perspective, from my nervous system. I was preaching this stuff to my clients, and I got so consumed in trying to run a really successful business and being so obsessed with being successful and trying to prove myself, leaving the fitness industry as a PT, that I lost connection to all of these foundations with taking care of myself on a mental, emotional, a spiritual level. And I'm going to be talking more about these foundations today on our episode. But I really wanted to start just by being super honest and open that, I've been there before. I have burnt out hard, like really, really severely in my business to the point where I had to take time off from work. And I know that since then, I have gone through experiences where I've had symptoms of burnout, where on a mental, emotional, spiritual level, that there have been indicators that I'm going back down onto that pathway. And I've been able to recognize it now and put tools into place to mitigate those things. But certainly in the start of my business journey, I was so obsessed with being successful that I neglected these things, and it led to depression. I was emotionally exhausted. I lost so much passion with showing up and being connected to what I was doing, my mission, my vision that I was upholding in my life and my journey that I was on. And I just knew that I had to change something. So I came back to all of the things that I was teaching my clients, and I was like, oh my gosh, Nikki, you haven't been embodying these things. And so now, whenever I notice that I get these symptoms that come up for me again, and it's not necessarily that I'm burning out, but they're symptoms that I'm neglecting myself on a self-care lens, that these symptoms are a reminder for me to come back to what I learned back in that first year of running my business, where I was all in my masculine, all about succeeding and not about taking care of myself. And so I know that there's so many girls that will be listening to this podcast today, so many women who you are on a journey, whether it's in your business, your career, or even just as a mom, a single mom, that you're also experiencing signs of burnout. So I had a client that came to me for a one-on-one session a few weeks ago. Now, I don't often do one-on-one sessions because I love the group coaching space. We have such a beautiful community that we are building there with all the girls in the Conscious Woman. But I do once-off deep dive sessions. So if you're ever interested in doing a once-off session with me, and that way you can just get a sense of what these sessions are like, what the coaching space is like, what it's like to work with me. We do an hour and a half deep dive session. Reach out to me to hear more about that. But essentially, this beautiful woman came on and she said to me, Nikki, I am so exhausted and overwhelmed and stressed that I ended up in hospital last week. And I looked at her and I was like, girl, you're telling me that you have been running this business, you've been working with all of these clients, and you've gotten to a stage where you worked so hard that you ended up in hospital. I was like, can you see how that is a problem? And she was like, yes, that's why I'm here, help. And I was like, girl, I got you. But I was just like, I had to like repeat it back to her because I was like, did I hear that correctly? Like, you have gotten to a position in your business where you're so burnt out and you've neglected taking care of yourself. that she had literally a mental breakdown. And, I really hope that it never comes to that, anyone listening here. But I know that for women, we can get to these stages in our life where we are feeling completely drained and overwhelmed. We are stressed. And yet we still feel this need and this expectation to show up all the time and have it all figured out. It's like this hustle culture where we just have to push through it and just get it done. And at what point do we look inwards and really explore what that's costing us on a mental, emotional, and particularly for women wanting to tap into their inner connectedness between their mind and their body, connect to their divine feminine? At what cost is the need to be perfect and self-sacrificing along the way just so that you can get shit done? So if you're experiencing burnout, or I should say you're experiencing symptoms of burnout, it can feel really difficult to get back on track. And I can imagine and this is just an indication for what a lot of my clients do, you feel like you need to be doing more when you're feeling burnt out. So you're lacking motivation, you're feeling like there's low productivity, you're, not focusing straight. And so you feel like you need to work harder, right? So it can be really tricky when you're feeling this way to get back on track, because it feels like the harder you work, the worse that you feel. So it's really important with the first sign that you notice, whether it's, emotional exhaustion, could be physical symptoms like headaches or body aches. You might notice that you've got brain fog or really low motivation, could be noticing self-doubt. And one thing that I noticed was I felt really detached from my body and my passions. So I didn't want to listen to my body. I was just sleeping all the time and I didn't even want to work. It's really important when you notice these signs come up that you don't keep working through them, right? Like, I'll just get through it. Like, it's just a phase. I just got to keep working and it'll go away. Like, no, those are signs that you are not in a balanced state on an internal level. There is some sort of disconnection going on in your life between what you're doing on an internal level versus external level, and something needs to change, right? If you keep going the same way that you're going, you will just keep getting the same results that you're getting and even worse. So, the saying, nothing changes if nothing changes. If you keep doing the same thing, you're going to keep getting what you've always gotten. So I'm going to go through the first things that you need to think about right now, which is identifying, well, what's causing your stresses? Like, this is the first thing you need to think about, because most of us would just say, like, it's work, which is obviously a clear indicator towards why most people experience burnout. But there is also relationships that are really important to take close look at as to whether that is causing burnout. So, for example, when I was in my first year of running my business, I was being mentored by this incredible person. However, their philosophies for business was super masculine. Like, I mean, hyper rigid masculine. And it worked. Like, I made 100K in 1 month, and I had too many clients that I could service. Like, those were good problems to have, but it ultimately led to my burnout. And so the solution there was essentially just like work harder. And for a sustainable approach, working harder is not going to mitigate burnout. It's only going to exacerbate the problems. So it's really important when working through burnout is determining your environment that you're in and what's actually causing a lot of the what's causing you to get in a space where you are neglecting and self-sacrificing. So is it job, but is there certain people that you're modeling right now that maybe aren't serving your highest good? That you feel like you're looking up to them as a mentor and you're trying to do what they're doing, and it's costing you your inner peace. It's costing you your mental, emotional well-being. You can still be inspired by these people, but just because they can do it doesn't mean you can. You cannot compare yourself to these people that maybe if they're mentoring you, they've probably been doing it for 5, 10+ years, and you are just starting out on your journey. So number one is like identify what's causing your stresses, what's causing you to be so burnt out and stressed in your life, whether it's work, people, or environment. The next thing is you got to look at whether you are people pleasing and self-sacrificing. Cool. This one was huge for me. So I'm a pretty much a one woman team. I have subcontractors that work for me, but at this present state, I don't have any employees. And even still, even yet, I still know there have been times in my business where I've been people pleasing my clients. I will make myself disposable to my clients at all hours of the day, from the moment that I wake up to the moment that I go to bed. I would give them my attention 7 days a week. And if they needed anything, I was there to drop what I was doing, send them a voice memo, help them work through what they're experiencing. And I was on standby for them 24/7, right? At the hours that I was awake. And I realized that this level of people pleasing, it wasn't even serving them, because eventually I got to a place where I wasn't showing up for myself. I was neglecting my morning routines because I was, responding to WhatsApp messages first thing in the morning. And so it actually became a self-sacrifice of my own well-being. And so I kept pouring into all my clients' cups, but eventually my cup became empty. And I was like trying to pour love and care into all my clients' lives, and I had so little to give. And so self-sacrificing actually wasn't doing them like a service either. And so I realized that people pleasing was actually, it was costing me my own well-being, but it was also then doing my clients a disservice because I wasn't there to give them my 100% energy, my love, my light, because my light was so dimmed. So determine, like, are you people pleasing? Are you giving all of your energy and you have no boundaries for how much you give back to yourself? Do you spend most of your day taking care of everyone else, and then you have little to no energy at the end of the day to take care of yourself? And if that's you, you have to consider where you might need to take a step back and start filling up your cup again. And that might mean taking a break or reducing your hours at work. And so if you're in a position where you can't take a break, let's say, maybe you're a single mom, or, you're employed and you have a set amount of hours. If you can't reduce your hours and you can't ask for help, come back to boundaries. Boundaries are so important. So for me, when I was working with my clients, I told them that I was uncontactable on a Sunday. And even that was really difficult to do. But having that Sunday to myself was so important. I also then made myself contactable hours during the day. So between the hours of 9 a.m. and 6 or 7 p.m. was when I was available to respond to messages and emails and DMs and things like that. And so in the morning and in the evening, I had boundaries with my phone. I had boundaries with how much energy that I was giving my clients. And that means I can wake up first thing in the morning and all I need to focus on is filling up my cup first. And before I go to bed, I don't need to worry about, what client has messaged me because I know that message will still be there in the morning and I can respond to it then. So it might mean saying to your boss that you're not available to work after hours. It might mean saying to your partner that you need help around the house. So see where you can ask for help and where you can set some boundaries with your time and with your energy. And then the final thing is stress management tools. Now, these are so important. If you're somebody who cannot stop working right now, it might be because whether it's in your business or like you're a single mom and you're taking care of kids and you can't just not take care of them, we really want to now integrate stress management tools so that you can, while you're still working, deploy these tools to help you come back to your self energy. So the first one is morning routine. I noticed when I burnt out that I was waking up in the morning and I would do like a 20-minute meditation and then I would go straight into work. Right. And I was getting up at 5 a.m. So by 5:30, I was already working in the morning. Right. And I would work till like 6, 7 p.m. So like I was doing 12-hour days, which is like crazy. 7 days a week, And so I completely neglected this me time in the morning. And so when I got back on track and I called it the golden hour. I dedicated the golden hour to myself, which is this hour you have first thing in the morning to yourself. And the golden hour is for you to wake up and do whatever you want for yourself. But it has to be away from your electronic devices. So you could do some journaling, you could do some reading, meditation, breath work, do some yoga, some stretching, go for a walk, anything but on your devices. So I love doing a 20-20-20 split, 20 minutes meditation, 20 minutes of reading, and then 20 minutes of journaling or affirmations. And these days I read for 40 minutes. So I do a 20-40 split. But in that morning routine, you really want to do something for your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, and certainly your emotions on an internal level. So I personally would avoid incorporating the gym into that 60 minutes because it's a lot of energy going out. We really want it to be energy coming in during that first hour. I would also avoid having coffee as caffeinating first thing in the morning. You'll find as well when you wait an hour that your caffeine spikes are a lot clearer. You get a better hit of caffeine and it's a more sustained release of caffeine. You don't get the huge crashes after around like that, 12 p.m. and then you have to have another cup of coffee. So if you can wait like that hour before you have your first coffee, and here's the thing, you're going to feel that in that first hour, especially when you first get started, it will feel quite tricky. So you might want to wean off a little bit, maybe extend it to like half an hour if you're somebody who has coffee first thing in the morning. But essentially you want to reduce the time in which you have it in that first hour of waking up. And then bonus as well, in that first hour, if you can get some morning sunshine, obviously if you're getting up at 5 a.m., you might not have any morning sun. But if you know you're getting up at 6:37, get some morning sunshine on your face. First thing in the morning, 5 or 10 minutes, it will do wonders for your body clock and for your sleep as well. The next thing is a little thing I like to call time for go and time for flow. And what this means is during the day when you are working and you are going, good. Make sure that that is what you're doing and you're not doing anything else. You're not distracted. Put your phone in another room if you have to. And that way you are actually dedicating the time that you're working to working and not doing anything else, right? You're not responding to text messages. You're not accepting a call from your friends, or you're not, getting distractions and notifications coming up that are pulling you away from actually being productive with the work that you are doing. And that way, when you step into the second part, which is called time for flow, that you can actually switch off. So time for flow essentially is time in your feminine energy. When you are working, by default, you will be in your masculine, right? That is the quality of the masculine energy. It's work. And so it's really important to balance that energy by being in your feminine. People who burn out are often spending way too much time in their masculine. It's all about going, hustling, getting shit done, and they have no time to slow down and just be. And so it's so important that you have these two: time for go, where you're only doing that and you're not being distracted by anything else, and then time for flow. And so that might mean scheduling in time during your day to be in flow. And that means, laying on the ground, doing some stretching, opening your heart. I love putting on an incense. I lay out in my meditation room. I put a block underneath my back and open up my chest, help with my posture. And then I might listen to some binaural beats and do some meditation, or just literally just lay there and do nothing and allow myself to exist and just be. And for high achieving, or I should say overachieving women, the idea of just being and actually doing nothing will feel crazy. You'll be like, what do you mean just do nothing? You will feel lazy. And you've got to recognize, like, there's a problem in that. The fact that you don't have the ability to just be in your feminine and be in your flow and just exist. Like, you're a human being, not a human robot or a human doing. You're a human being. Give yourself permission to just be, whether it's half an hour, right? Or an hour. I give myself 2 hours after lunch to be in my feminine. So I'll do some of my stretching or my heart opening in my meditation room. And then I might lay on my hammock and do some reading, or some meditation. So be really strict with your non-negotiable flow times, whether it's just half an hour in the middle of your day, but make sure that your flow time is separate to your self-care in the morning, right? So your golden hour in the morning, that should just be your fill your cup up time, and your time for your flow is to balance your go, right? And that way you find that by the end of the day that you haven't been on your go, right? You haven't been in work mode from like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and you've had no time to down regulate during the day, and you get to the end of the day and you just find yourself laying on the couch eating, McDonald's, watching Netflix. The flow times during the day are going to help you to down regulate your nervous system, so you're not spending 8 hours, 10 hours in fight or flight during the day. So it's really important that during those flow times you aren't answering messages when you said you were going to do a meditation, or you aren't jumping back and forth in between tasks when you said you were going to do some reading. So it's really important to dedicate your flow time, even if it's just 15-20 minutes, to yourself. And then finally, start slowly doing things that make you feel good again. When we're burnt out, what happens is we can become over obsessed with working. We do things for everyone else. We put ourselves last on our priority list, and we stop filling up our cup again with things that make us feel happy. And we lose that passion with ourselves. We lose passion with things that make us feel good. We can even lose passion with work and what we're doing. And so when we reintroduce these things that make us feel good again, we're starting to say that, hey, how I feel is a priority for me in my life. Yes, I'm so good at taking care of everyone else in my life, but I also have to take care of me. And as I take care of me, I will have energy to take care of other people in my life too. And after all, how I take care of myself is also role modeling to the people that I take care of, that it's important for them to take care of themselves first. Right? Especially if you're a mom and you're neglecting your self-care, what do you think that's teaching your children? And that it doesn't matter how mummy feels, she takes care of herself last. Your children will learn by watching you, not by what you tell them. They will learn by seeing you, how you take care of yourself. So it's so important for moms to take care of themselves. And here's the thing, it's not selfish for you to take care of yourself and want love to be abundantly flowing out of you. You're actually doing a disservice to yourself and to everyone else when you take care of yourself last. Because when you burn out, you won't be there to take care of anyone. Won't even be there to take care of yourself. So when we start to do things for ourselves again, we build up this desire for things that make us feel good. And it could be nothing to do with work. It might be painting, it might be pottery, it might be singing, it might be dancing. But the point is to just do things that make you feel amazing. They make you feel happy, they make you feel good. And you want to slowly introduce time and create space to do those things. Okay, so this was a shorter episode today. I wanted to do some shorter episodes for quite a long time, and I had to like stop myself from going on a tangent about this, because usually when I get really passionate about a topic, I just want to go on and on about it all day. But we are going to keep this one short for today. So just to recap today's episode, if you're feeling burnt out, first thing is to identify what is causing your stresses and set some boundaries with those things. Determine if you are people-pleasing or self-sacrificing. And if you are, consider taking a break from those things. If you cannot take a break, come back to your boundaries and really honor those things. And then integrating your stress management tools with your routines, time for go, time for flow, and doing things that make you feel good again. So remember, the most important thing is you. You are the most important thing in your life. And how you love yourself is how you will ask other people to love you. So if you want your clients to look up to you as a role model and love you for the ways that you take care of them and for you to be their guide, or you want your friends, your children, your family to look up to you in those ways, it starts by you taking care of yourself. And know that you can do both, that you don't need to take 6 months off work or just go on a holiday and everything else will sort itself out. It's about coming back to your self-care and self-love. And going on a holiday isn't going to make those things go away. So start by building up habits of self-care and self-love, and let those be the foundations for how you take care of yourself, so that in your future, You won't you won't need to be burnt out again to start taking care of yourself, because you'll notice the signs straight away and you'll be able to take action and mitigate these things, these signs of burnout. So, sending you all so much love. If you're like, oh my God, I needed this because I'm feeling so burnt out, reach out to me if you are feeling really stuck or feeling so overwhelmed right now and you need some more guidance. Hopefully, today is pointing you in the right direction, but reach out to me if you need any more love and support. We are taking on more clients for the Conscious Woman, and I'm about to open a new intake very soon. So if you'd like to come on board as a client with us in the Conscious Woman, reach out to me, send me a DM, and we can have a chat about that. Otherwise, I will see you in the next episode.